equal livelihoods. And these principles are universal in all sectors and in all institutions and all services. But particularly as a UN Global Compact where we focus on business, these principles are very important for businesses to adopt because these principles go a long way in advancing gender equality, but also achieving the SDGs and abiding by the 10 principles. So first, let's take a look at our 7 principles. So these 7 principles are the guide for all businesses. The first principle here is leadership that promotes gender equality. The principle 1 establishes high-level corporate leadership for gender equality. We cannot have gender equality in businesses at the level in which we want it, at a level in which we directors, another. Principle 2, equal opportunity, inclusion, and non-discrimination. This principle deals with treating all women and men fairly at the workplace and respecting human rights and avoiding non-discrimination. So what this means is that people should not be discriminated against for their gender. There should not be misperceptions about their roles, and that should not be a hindrance for them to have opportunities to work and other livelihoods. Principle 3, health, safety, and freedom from violence. This principle ensures that health and safety and well-being of all men and women workers are protected. So what this means is that companies should make sure that they empower, they have both men and women working together in an area that is safe. Their health should be taken into consideration. The environment should be taken into consideration. Abuse should be avoided. And there should be safety from violence within the workplace. Principle 4, education and training. This principle deals with promoting education, training, and professional development for both men and women, but particularly to ensure gender equality, making sure that women are not left behind. So that includes looking at education tracks within organizations, making sure that those opportunities are open to women, making sure that trainings are available, mentorship programs are available. All these things should have equal access for both men and women. Principle 5, enterprise development, supply chain, and marketing practices. So the fifth principle deals with implementing enterprise development and supply chains in a way that helps to empower women. So even in marketing practices, these activities should not be detrimental to development of women's, sorry, these practices should not be at the detriment of women involved. So when companies are looking at the supply chains, when they're looking at their marketing practices, they have to make sure that they take gender into consideration. Principle 6, community leadership and engagement. This principle deals with promoting equality through community initiative and advocacy. So here, most importantly, comes corporate social responsibility activities, advocacy, outreach, and so forth to help promote gender equality. These activities are very important because they showcase where the company is also dedicated to pushing for equal rights, not just for gender, but also for activities outside of the business and in the environment in which they operate. So for example, this includes activities related to investments in in programs that help promote leadership, women leadership in schools. And we see lots of companies that actually do this in Ghana. This is probably one of the areas where I would say they are very strong in. EcoBank has different programs like this. Absa Bank also has different programs like this. There are lots of companies that do this. But this is also important in relation to the tool in which we'll get into. And then principle 7, transparency, measuring, and reporting. This is a very key principle that companies need to adopt, because this is the principle that actually measures the actions being taken and shows where the gaps are. And of course, reporting is also essential because the reporting aspect is where the company communicates what they have learned and where they need to grow when it comes to advancing gender equality. So these principles, these measures are publicly reported on the progress. And so as this is reported, then the transparency of the company, their profile is raised, and people will learn that this company is actually a leader in promoting gender equality. So why is it important to go over these 7 principles? Because the tool itself is based off of these principles. The tool will ask different questions relating to these principles, and the company can then see by its response how they measure up to this tool, how they measure up to gender equality. Within the company. So the tool can be found at webs-gapanalysis.org. If you're using this tool in Ghana, use the alliance code GCN Ghana. That way, we can get data on the tool. So you go to the tool, you go to the website, as I mentioned, and you'll go ahead and you can log in or sign up, create an account, create a company account, and after that, you can go ahead and begin to take the tool. So what we have done is that we have actually done a demonstration where we have actually gone into the tool and taken it to give you an idea of how companies will use the tool, and also to showcase what a beginner typically looks like when they go through the tool. The tool takes about approximately 2 to 3 hours to complete. So what we have done is that we've taken different snapshots of the tool at different stages, so as to give participants here an opportunity to see how the progress is made going forward through the tool. So when you first log into your account, you will see here that it shows current score and last evaluation. So the idea is that this is a tool that you'll be using frequently, but that should most likely be something that you take once a year. It is advised that companies do not do it more than that, because the idea is that you go through a process. And that process is that you go through the tool, you take the tool, you see how your company performs, and then you're able to inform yourselves of the policies necessary to be developed and enacted to bring change. So then the next year, you're implementing those changes. You're implementing those changes while at the same time now taking the tool. Okay, so here you see the next page. You'll see frequently asked questions that are asked. These are on the side. Typically, when people take the tool for the first time or for the second time, they may need to get answers to some of these questions. We'll actually touch on some of these later on. So for now, we're going to go ahead and move forward, but we're going to address some of these questions here. Okay. So here's an overview. Here's an overview of the tool. So down here, as you can see, we have the identify assessment year and confirm the company profile. So here you would confirm the year in which you're doing, and it will ask you to confirm your profile. So that would be information on the company head, information on the number of employees, information on the size of the company, and so forth, just to have an idea of what kind of organization is that is taking the tool. It could be an SME, it could be a micro, and it can be corporate level. All right. So after you fill in that information or confirm that information, the next aspect would be to begin to take the tool itself. So here's an example of the first question that is asked. Does your company have leadership commitment and support for gender equality and women empowerment? So the options that we have here is no, our company currently does not have that approach, but, and then you also have, yes, our company has leadership commitment to or support for gender equality and women's empowerment. So I want to point out over here to the right, you have the different sections which this tool will focus on: leadership and strategy, workplace, marketplace, and community. So here you see the number of questions that the tool will ask for each section. All right, we'll go to the next one. So this was the second part of the first question. This deals with the transparency aspect. So, so here you have an option to choose between the two options with regard to transparency. Does you report publicly to company stakeholders on the progress made, or you report to the board on progress made and outcomes on commitments and targets, or is it both? Okay. So that's the second question here is, does your company have a discrimination and equal opportunity policy, either standalone or clearly included in a broader corporate policy? So then here you would answer that question. So these questions, I can see, are quite broad, but at the same time, in the recruitment process. So here, so does your company have an approach to ensure men and women are compensated equally? And then here you can answer, we are interested in learning more, or we are planning to take steps next year, or some of our country offices or business units have taken steps, or none of the above. Okay, so we skipped a little bit ahead. Does your company take proactive procurement steps to expand relationships with women-owned businesses in the value chain when contracting vendors? Yes or no? Now, this is an interesting question because this is not something that necessarily all the businesses think about. Lots of times we're just looking at, okay, I need this product, I'm gonna go here and buy it there. But sometimes if you're thinking about, okay, I want to support a particular supply chain, and you know that that particular supply chain, you have a lot of women owners in that particular value chain, the question is, do you take a step? The question is asking is, do you take a step in ensuring that you have an outreach with those value chains that are women owned, and do they have an equal opportunity to become partners? So you can answer this question yes or no. Okay, moving forward again, we have another question that asks, does your company have policies and processes in place to ensure the responsibility to respect the rights of women and girls in local communities in which it operates? So now you're looking at a question that is asking about not just within the organization itself, but also looking at the marketplace in which it operates in. So that means that who you are doing business with and who is in your supply chain, you are very cautious and wary about whether those persons or companies that you're dealing with also respects the rights of women and girls in the local communities. All right, so after you go through all of these tests, over here, it will show on the right side where you have been able to successfully complete each section. Like I said, the tool takes about 2 to 3 hours to do, so we just kind of fast forward through this. So after you finished this part, you can proceed to the outcome questions, where companies are encouraged to complete the outcomes indicators to measure progress over time, or you can completely skip that section and confirm the results. So in the outcome survey, at this section, this is where they will need information about your company. So here you put in total number of men and women in the organization. You will also fill out that information in relation to top management, upper management, middle management, at an entry and junior level. All right. So we filled out this assessment, and we wanted to show you what typically most companies look like when they first take the tool. So no, we did not fill it out and make ourselves a perfect company, but we just wanted to showcase what the results look like when you are at the very beginning stages of embarking on this journey to promote gender equality. After filling out the tool, the score was 11%. So that means that our score shows that we are at the beginning stage of recognizing the importance of gender equality to business. So we want to point out that 0 to 25%, this is not like university or high school scores where people are measured by A, B, C, D, or F for failure. The idea is that this is a tool for companies to use to start at a base and continue to improve. So here, you see that we are marked at beginner at 11%. Typically, companies at 25 to 50%, these are noted as improvers. 50 to above 75% score means you're an achiever. And then of course, 75 to 100% means you're a leader. Most companies, when they start off, this is actually where they are. They're at the beginning level. Most companies will find themselves here. A small number of companies end up here, and it's very, very, very few companies actually end up a leader. In fact, since the tool was released last year, very, very few, probably less than 2% of companies actually achieve this score here. So, but the score, like I said, is designed to help show where you are and where you can improve. So the score here will also show where in the 4 sections you performed. So as you can see, the color codes makes it easier to show you where some of the gaps are and where your attention needs to be focused on. We have different color codes to see that there's also a percentage that's awarded to those particular areas that can show you, okay, so this is where we are. Going back, remember the different color codes. Between red and mid-orange is beginner. Yellow, almost green is improver. Greenish, almost blue is achiever. And leader is a solid blue. So we had to take 2 pictures of this. So you'll see that here, leadership was at 28%. Access to health, to quality health services is at 54%. Health, safety, and hygiene was at 52%. And of course, questions that are not, that do not apply, depending on the type of company you are, the type of business you are, or how you answer those questions, they will appear gray. Then the areas in which you've selected for, in which you're being measured, it shows you what that color is. So here we can see that it's a tinge of an orange, so we are likely at the beginning stages here. So CRS, philanthropy, advocacy, and partnerships to support gender equality is at 31%. Applying a gender lens to community relations, here is selected at 0%. So obviously, as a beginning company, this is not something that was being thought of. This is the extension of that page. So this goes a little bit more into some of the other aspects of the tool we'll look at, that we'll measure. So non-discrimination and equal opportunity policy, looking at recruitment, professional development and promotion, equal compensation, maternity leave, paternity leave, parental and caregiver support, work and life balance, violence, harassment, sexual exploitation, and over here, and that would be under the marketplace area, gender responsible marketing, productive services development with a gender lens. So as you can see, the tool is very holistic in its approach, looking at first the leadership and strategy. Do you have leadership that's committed, and do they have a strategy in place to ensure that gender equality is advanced? Then looking at the workplace itself and everything involving the workplace. So these are, as you can imagine, most of the activities that takes place in the workplace. And so these are the areas in which these are the areas in which a lot of focus will be given. And then the marketplace, and then community. Sorry, I went too fast. All right. So your progress is managed. So this is your progress by management stages. So if you look at the top percentages here, these are the most possible percentage points which you would score on those different areas. So you see that commitment is given 25%. Implementation is 50%. Measurement and transparency are both 12.5%. So at the bottom score will show you what you actually scored overall. And like I said before, that will reflect in your total score here. So if you were to add the bottom scores here, that would let you know, okay, so this is actually where I am on my journey. So the idea is that when you finish taking the tool and you get these results, you will now inform yourself on what you need to focus on. So you come here and start to make plans that, okay, these are some of the areas I need to look at. Do I have paternity leave for fathers? Maybe I should add that. Do I have maternity leave? Do we have a work balance? What does that look like? How do we make that work with the type of businesses that we're engaged in? When we look at the marketplace, gender responsible marketing, what is that? How do we engage? What is the way forward? So this shows you where the gaps are. And then when you look here, you begin to see we can begin to work on gaps. Then you'll go ahead and put together a plan based on these results to see what can be done to turn things around. All right, so before we go any further, are there any questions on the tool so far? And then different aspects on the tool or different technical questions with regards to the tool? If you have any questions, you can put it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and ask. Any questions? Okay, if there are no questions, I think what I'll do is I'll look at some commonly asked questions with regards to the tool, and I'll answer some of those questions. Um, if you're not able to answer these questions, you could also email us any additional questions or concerns that you may have. I think one of the most common questions that some companies may ask is, why use the tool? What benefits is this tool to my company? So while many companies might have one-off policies and programs to advance gender equality within their company, very few companies are actually taking full advantage of the full spectrums and ways in which they can have a positive impact on women and girls. So one thing that this tool aims to do is to help your company set itself on the right direction on gender equality by identifying the strength gaps and opportunities existing with certain policies and programs. And then this can be done across your workplace. And then it also looks at the marketplace itself, where a business is conducted, and then of course community. So going through this process, you'll actually be able to learn a lot of things with regard to gender equality that might not have occurred to leadership with regards to gender equality. Another common question is about this tool is this an auditing or certification tool? Like, do you get some kind of certification after taking this tool? The answer to that is no. It's not designed to be used for auditing purposes. The tool is based on self-reporting. So the idea is that as you take the tool, your company actually takes lessons from what they get out of the tool, from the outcomes of the results, and then you're able to use that to apply to your organization. So I will touch on one more question, one more common question that we get. Is this a tool for only businesses, and can other stakeholders get involved? So this tool is primarily designed for businesses, and the idea is to help businesses close the gender gap in their workplaces, and also where companies engage. Uh, Non-business members, they are free to use the tool, um, but some of the questions as a result might not necessarily be relevant for them because they are not companies. So they may not do, for example, marketing. They may not do specific types of business operations that typically for-profit organizations do. The areas when it comes to community engagement and advocacy, obviously a lot of non-business members, NGOs, CSOs, uh, those will be areas in which they will be very, very active in, and a lot of significant activity that they are engaged in would likely touch on those areas. But for an organization to really fully appreciate everything with regards to this tool, it's more beneficial for companies. Any questions? All right. Well, if you don't have any questions, we'll go on to the next part of the program. So the Global Compact is running the Target Gender Equality Initiative. This is a program that was launched on March 16th, and it is available now for companies to sign up for. So Target Gender Equality is an accelerator program that focuses on supporting companies participating in the UN Global Compact in setting and meeting ambitious corporate targets to advance gender equality. This initiative is run in collaboration with the Global Compact local networks. So if you recall, for those of you who participated in our events last month under the West Africa Gender Equality Program, we brought in experts to discuss how companies can go through the process of promoting gender equality and its importance. And this was done within the local context in Ghana. And this program that is being launched here is at a more global level. So opportunities exist for companies to sign up with the link here, unglobal.org/take-action/target gender equality. You can go there and sign up for that. The theme that the Target Gender Equality focuses on is on bold action to advance gender equalities at all levels and all areas of business. So there'll be capacity building workshops that will be focusing on supporting companies to set targets and develop enabling action to increase women's representation in leadership. So some of the benefits that companies would receive from this program is that they'll be equipped with research, they'll be able to network with partners and experts, they'll be able to confidently meet to have serious discussions on how to set ambitious corporate targets for women's representation and leadership in business. And then they will also have an opportunity to demonstrate commitment to measurable progress on gender equality with their employees, investors, and other stakeholders, and also have an opportunity to profile women making strides in their organization and who have success stories in driving business success. And ultimately, This is also to showcase how companies are using target gender equality to advance the SDGs. There's also an opportunity for organizations to sign the Women Empowerment Principles. So the Women Empowerment Principles is an initiative by UN Women, and it is an opportunity for companies to showcase and communicate publicly their commitment to working to empower women and abide by the principles that we mentioned earlier in the presentation. So if you click on the link, weps.org/join, able to apply to join. It requires the chief executive officer to sign the WEPs. So you go in, create an account, upload your company information and so forth. Then there'll be a quote from the CEO himself. The CEO himself will then make a declaration that X company is making a commitment to abide by the 7 principles of women empowerment. They'll ask you different information about your company. It'll give you an opportunity to also provide some sponsorship or to be referred by another sponsor. And then if you're ready to submit an action plan, it will ask you at that time to do so. So this is where, for those companies who are ready to take that step and to sign the WEPs, they can go ahead and do that. For companies that are at the beginning stages, they can use tools like the WEPs Gaps, Gender Gaps Analysis tool, where they can begin to start the process of building themselves up to that level. Once they feel confident enough that they would like to now take their action plans public, they can go ahead and sign the WEPs. Are there any questions in regards to the Target Gender Equality Initiative or any questions related to the WEPs? If you have any questions, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. Or you can unmute yourself and ask any questions at all. All right, if there's no questions, I'm going to assume that everybody learned everything very, very well. That is good. If you do have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to us. My name, like I said, is Tolu Lacroix. I'm the program coordinator of the UN Global Compact. You can write to me at tolu.lacroix@unglobalcompact.com, or my assistant, Rhoda Boateng, at also at unglobalcompact.com. And our telephone number is also listed there below. So with that, we've come to the end of our program. Thank you very much for participating. And like I said, if you have any questions about the tool, feel free to reach out to us. So if there's nothing else, we'll go ahead and close early for today. Thank you very much, and we wish you a lovely day.